Hola, amigas. Hola, mi gente hermosa. Welcome to our Latina Leadership Podcast live stream. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while. I'm Andrea. If you haven't seen me already, all over our social media. And tonight's conversation special. Porque today we're diving into what season 12 is all about. Yes, I know we've been teasing season 12 all over our social media, so I know y'all have been excited to see what it's about. So, if you've been following us for a while, you know this podcast has always been about stories, about mujeres paving their way, building something from nothing, leading with our hearts. But this season, we're doing things a bit different. We're turning the mic toward you. So, season 12 main theme, I would describe it like this: it's your voice, your story, and nuestra comunidad. So, we've been asking you to share your voice, your story, your truth, so together we can create this season that sounds like a chorus of Latina voices across generations, professions, and different journeys. So tonight we're cover over what makes season 12 different, how you can send your story, including how to record it in video or audio, even writing it down, and what we'll be doing with it when you share it. So by the end of this live stream, you'll know exactly how to become part of the podcast this season. So are y'all ready for this? So let's get into it. So when I think about what this season means, I think about all the times you said representation matters. You know, this has been the buzzword lately, right? But for us it's more than that. It's about presence. It's about voice. It's about saying, aquí estoy, this is who I am, and my story matters. And that's why season 12, we've decided to step into a new era of storytelling. So, in past seasons, we've had interviews, we've had some panels, we've had leadership advice, and we've loved every single guest we've had. But this time, we're thinking about it as a team, and I was thinking about it. I want something that felt closer, something that sounded like, late night chat between friends, something where you could close your eyes and feel the heartbeat behind every story, and especially, when you're having more intimate stories of people sending you stories, I feel it just makes it just a bit more intimate. Um, so instead of traditional interview format that you've seen in past seasons, season 12 will feature your own stories, real listener and audience member stories. Your stories, be it through video, through audio, through voice notes, even through written form. I've had written submissions already, and I can read them out loud for y'all. And it's just anything you send us, and we feel it's a great fit for it, we'll include it and formulate it into our episode formats. So we'll talk through those stories and build entire episodes around them. Especially sometimes you don't realize the stories you send us, they're kind of similar in theme sometimes. There's sometimes interconnected dots, and we've already seen this with some of the submissions you have already sent us. So it just makes it us where we can formulate these episodes to make it tie into what you're already talking about and just make it such a big, broader conversation to have. So each episode will weave together your experiences, my reflections, podcast host, come on, gotta put my reflections in there, and just capture the emotions of your words, la fuerza, la vulnerabilidad, la verdad, because this season isn't about a headline guest. It's about all of us. And that's, I think, everybody's wondering, like, what's the big change? Like, why are you asking us about all this? That's the big change. It's not about just one guest. It's about all of us. So you might be wondering, why the change of format now? Here's the truth. There's so much power in the collective voice of Latinas, because we're so often told that only the loudest or the most successful stories deserve a platform. No, amiga, that's not us. This season is about real stories, the ones that happen off camera, in the quiet moments where we're learning who we are. Because leadership doesn't always look like a corner office. Sometimes it looks like showing up for your family when things are falling apart. Sometimes it's choosing peace instead of proving yourself. Sometimes it's rebuilding after heartbreak. There's so many different ways to tell a story. So many ways stories can impact anyone. And that's what we're trying to see and do this season. We're doing this differently because we want to honor the fullness that is Latina leadership, the emotional, cultural, spiritual, and creative sides of who we are. And honestly, we're tired of waiting for permission to be seen. This season, we're giving ourselves permission. So let's talk about you. You might be watching this thinking, Andrea, my story isn't that big. I don't even know what I'd say. But listen, your story doesn't have to it doesn't have to be a novella to matter. It could be a short reflection, a turning point, something that made you see yourself differently. Maybe it's about the first time you stood up for yourself at work. Maybe it's about learning to forgive yourself. Maybe it's about your mom, your abuelita, your daughter, someone who inspired you. Whatever it is, that's your story. And when you tell it, you create connection. Someone out there might be listening, think, wow, I've been there too. And that's how we build comunidad, by being brave enough to share our truth. Okay, amigas, let's get to the fun part. Here's how you can share your story for season 12. We made it super easy. Porque we want this to feel natural and personal and not intimidating or overly produced. So here's how one way you could do it real quickly. Pull out your phone, hit record, and tell us your story. Face the camera. You can record vertically, horizontally, whichever feels right. If you want to sit in your living room, outside, wherever, go for it. Just you, your voice, and your tooth. You know, if you're looking for an ideal length, you can aim for 3 to 4 minutes. That's usually the sweet spot, enough to share your experience without feeling rushed. But listen, if it's a little longer or shorter, totally fine. What matters is that it's your story. So here's a bit of tips. Hey, as somebody who works in the background of this too, introduce yourself, name, where you're from, what inspired you to share. Tell us what happened, the moment, the lesson, the emotion, and with what you learned or what you tell another person going through something similar. If you speak Spanglish, we love that. Hey, I do it too. If you switch between English and Spanish, even better. Authenticity is everything. You can email your video to info@latinaleadershippodcast.com or send it via DM on Instagram or Facebook if it's short enough. If it's a larger file, we'll follow up with a private upload link, or you can send us your own upload link if you use, iCloud or Dropbox or Google Drive. We'll figure out a way. If you're camera shy, no worries, amiga. Been there, done that. Sadly, y'all see me in front of this podcast, so sadly can't be camera shy. So you can record your story using the voice memo app on your phone. Same idea. Keep it between 3 to 4 minutes. Just talk from the heart. And you can record it while sitting in your car, while walking, while making coffee, whatever feels right. We'll handle the editing and mixing. We just need your raw, real story. You can email it to info@latinaleadershippodcast.com. You'll hear this email so repeatedly. I'm so sorry, guys. Or DM us if it's short. Now, I know a lot of you might be wondering, okay, I send my story. And then what happens? Okay, so here's the behind the scenes scoop. Once you send us your video or audio story, our team listens carefully. We take notes, we highlight key moments, and then we start building an episode around the story. So some stories might be part of full episodes, woven into the commentary and other voices. And then others might be featured in a mini story series between episodes. Who knows? We'll try to use every single one, every note, every recording. It's honored. Even if we can't fit every submission into the main podcast feeds, we'll try to feature clips and quotes across our socials to celebrate your voice. So even if it doesn't make the episode, I swear to God, guys, we're trying to make it make sure it's featured somewhere. If it's not on our episode, it might be featured on our socials, or try to integrate it somewhere somehow on our platform. So we're not just collecting stories, we're building an archive of Latina leadership, one voice at a time. So, okay, let's talk about what makes a great story. It's not about perfect grammar or flawless delivery, it's about feeling. The best stories have heart. They show transformation, even if small. You can ask yourself, what moment changed how I see myself? What lesson did I learn about leadership, resilience, or confidence? What truth did I have to own? And if you're still not sure how to start, here's a simple structure. Start off first, the moment. There was a time when, quote, 2, the challenge. I felt. 3, the turning point. Then something happened that made me realize. And then 4, the lesson. Now I know. That's the simple structure. So it's like the moment, the challenge, the turning point, and the lesson. And that's it. Something powerful and real. We're not asking for perfect stories. We're asking for your story. There's something sacred about sharing your voice. For many of us, especially Latinas, we grew up in environments where speaking up didn't always feel safe. When we're told to be polite, to keep the peace, to not make too much noise, but being quiet doesn't make us invisible. It makes our stories untold. In this season, we're done with that. We're reclaiming space in the boardroom, in the classroom, in the studio, the mic, wherever. You know, I think about my mom sometimes when doing this, how she always encouraged me to use my voice, even when we were struggling. She didn't always have the platform, but she had the courage. And this is about. You know, giving taking inspiration from people who inspire us and using our voices and ourselves, the microphones that we've always deserved. So I hope when you listen to season 12, you notice it feels different. You'll hear you'll hear music that matches the emotions of the stories. You'll hear natural pauses, real laughter, maybe even tears. Hey, my tear up at some of these stories that you'll send me. It's not about the perfect podcast voice. It's about truth. Imagine hearing your story being told back at you, surrounded by voices of other Latinas who've lived through something similar. You know, that's going to be the magic of this season, weaving all of our journeys in one shared narrative. So we'll drop one story driven episode every other week with, or it's gonna follow the same format we've done of like the Tuesday releases for LLP. So we'll follow that format. So that's one thing we will be keeping. You know, and your story might air, and it could spark conversations between our our online community. And this is what makes this season so exciting. It's not just about content, it's about the connection. So here's my invitation from me to you, amiga. If you've ever thought my story doesn't matter, or I'm not ready to share, or this is your sign, this is your moment. Record that 3 to 4 minute story, send it to us. Trust that your voice will find the right ears, the right hearts. Because somewhere out there, another Latina is waiting to hear that she's not alone. And it might be your words that remind her. Before I sign off, I want to say this: Season 12 isn't just a new chapter, it's a new way of telling our stories. And it starts with you. So, tonight, or this weekend, or when you have a quiet moment, grab your phone, hit record, and talk. Tell us your story. Write down your story. Let it, any format you can send it to us. Write it down. Record it on on your voice notes, whichever format. Tell us your story. 3 to 4 minutes. Let it be imperfect. Let it be raw. Let it be real. Then send it to us at info@latinaleadershippodcast.com or DM it to us on Instagram or Facebook. Your story could become a part of our next episode. Your voice could become the one that inspires someone to finally speak theirs. And I'll leave it at that, amigas. Thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. Really happy and excited for season 12. I know y'all are too. Please, please, please send us your stories. We're so excited to hear what y'all can. Like, it's 3 to 4 minutes, voice memo, video. Write it down. Hey, I'm a writer, so like I'm one of those people. I love written down stories too. Whichever way to, especially like think of a story that could inspire somebody else to like open up about theirs. I feel like a lot of these stories can open up conversations with us. But thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you hopefully in the next another live stream. Bye, amigas.